Hey guys, this is Vishruta. Today we are going to learn about the most important and fundamental unit of life and our body, something that makes life mission possible. Actually, I told it myself. Today we are going to learn about ninth grade biology chapter, the fundamental unit of life. What is cell? We all have this question in our mind, right? Tiny units which come together in a perfect coordination to give us life is cells. Cell was first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. Cells are of two types, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Organisms are of two categories, unicellular and multicellular. I think few of you are thinking about what's the difference between type and category. Let me explain. Category means a group often named or numbered to which things are assigned based on similarity or different criteria, whereas type means grouping based on shared characteristics. Let's see about some discoveries. Cells were discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. Primitive microscope was discovered by Anton van Leeuwenhoek in 1675. Nucleus in the cell was discovered by Robert Brown in 1831. The cell theory was presented by two biologists, Leiden in 1838 and Swan in 1839. The cell theory was further expanded by Virchow in 1885. The first prototype electron microscope was discovered by Max Knoll and Ernest Ruska in 1931. In 1940, Vladimir Zworykin demonstrated the first electron microscope in the United States. Cell theory is nothing but that all plants and animals are made up of cells and that the cell is the basic unit of life. The expanded cell theory is nothing but that all cells rise from pre-existing cells. Now let's take a look at some cells of human body. This is the smooth muscle cell, red blood cell, white blood cell, bone cell, nerve cell, fat cell. Now, let me make you clear in the difference between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms are composed of one single cell, whereas multicellular organisms are composed of many cells. In unicellular organisms, single cell does the entire function of the organism and also constitutes to the structure. But in multicellular organisms, we can observe division of labor in the organisms. Example of unicellular organisms, amoeba and euglena. Plants and human beings are the example of multicellular organisms. We are going to learn about the difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic cell. Membrane-bound nucleus is absent in prokaryotic cell, whereas in eukaryotic cell, membrane-bound nucleus is present. Prokaryotic cell is an unicellular organism and eukaryotic cell is a multicellular organism. In prokaryotic cell, endoplasmic reticulum is absent, but in eukaryotic cell, endoplasmic reticulum is present. Lysosomes and peroxisomes are absent in prokaryotic cell, but in eukaryotic cell, lysosomes and peroxisomes are present. In prokaryotic cell, there is no membrane itself, but in eukaryotic cell, permeability of nuclear membrane is selective. Mitochondria is absent in prokaryotic cell and mitochondria is present in eukaryotic cell. Now, let's see about what cells form and what cells are made of. Cells together form tissue. Tissue together form organs. Organs together form organ system. Organ system together form human body. Every cell is made up of plasma membrane or cell membrane, nucleus, cytoplasm, cell organelles. Cell organelles are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, mitochondria, plastids, vacuoles. In some cell wall also takes place. Now we are going to learn about plasma of cell membrane. Cell membrane is the outermost covering of the cell. It is a phospholipid bilayer. It is embedded with proteins. You can see the diagram here, right? It helps to separate the contents of the cell from its external environment. It allows the entry and exit of some materials in and out the cell. So the cell membrane is called as selectively permeable membrane. Substances like carbon dioxide and oxygen can move across the cell membrane by a process called diffusion. Movement of liquid or water molecules through the selectively permeable membrane is carried out by the process called osmosis. Osmosis is nothing but the passage of water from a region of higher water concentration to a region of lower water concentration through selectively permeable membrane till equilibrium is reached. Diffusion is nothing but the passage of water or air molecules from a region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration through selective permeable membrane till equilibrium is reached. Now we are going to learn about how tonicity can change the shape of the cell. If the mediums are, for example, think what will happen if we put an animal cell or a plant cell into a solution of sugar or salt in water. If the medium surrounding the cell has a high water concentration, then the cell, meaning that the outside solution is very dilute, the cell will gain water by osmosis. Such a solution is known as hypotonic solution. Water molecules are free to pass across the cell membrane in both directions, but more water will come into the cell than that will leave. The net or overall result is that water enters the cell. The cell is likely to swell up as a result of osmosis. If the medium has exactly the same water concentration as the cell, there will be no net movement of water across the cell membrane. Such a solution is known as isotonic solution. Water crosses the cell membrane in both directions, but the amount going in is the same as the amount going out. So there is no overall movement of water. The cell will stay the same size as there is no overall movement of water. If the medium has a lower concentration of water than the cell, meaning that it is a very concentrated solution, the cell will lose water by osmosis. Such a solution is known as a hypertonic solution. Again, water crosses the cell membrane in both directions, but this time more water leaves the cell than enters it. Therefore, the cell will shrink. Thus, osmosis is a special case of diffusion through a selectively permeable membrane. Let's see about nucleus. Nucleus is also known as brain of a cell. It has a double-layered covering called nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane has pores which allows transfer of materials from nucleus to its outside, that is to cytoplasm. Nucleus contains chromosomes which are visible as rod-shaped structures only when the cell is about to divide. Chromosomes contain information for inheritance of features from parents to next generation in form of DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid molecules. Chromosomes are composed of DNA and protein. Functional segments of DNA are called genes. The nucleus plays a central role in cellular reproduction. Now, let's see about cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the fluid content inside the plasma membrane. It also contains many specialized cell organelles. Each of these organelles perform a specific function for the cell. Let's see about cell wall. Plant cells have another rigid outer covering called cell wall in addition to the plasma membrane. Cell wall is mainly composed of cellulose and it lies outside the plasma membrane or cell membrane. It provides structural strength to the plant cells. When a living plant cell loses water through osmosis, there is a shrinkage of contents of the cell away from cell wall. This phenomenon is known as osmolysis. Let's see about cell organelles. Every cell has a membrane around it to keep its contents separate from the external environment. The different components of cell perform different functions and these components are called cell organelles. Cell organelles are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, mitochondria, plastids, fibrils. Now first, let's see about endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum is a large network of membrane-bound tubes and sheets. It looks like a long tubules or round bags. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, that is RER, and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, that is SER. RER has particles called ribosomes attached to its surface. The ribosomes are the sites of protein manufacture. SER helps in the manufacture of fat molecules or lipids that's important for cell function. Some of these proteins and lipids help in building the cell membrane. This process is known as membrane biogenesis. Some other proteins and lipids function as enzymes and hormones. The one function of ER is to serve as channels for the transport of materials between various regions of the cytoplasm and the nucleus. The ER also functions as a cytoplasmic framework, providing a surface for some of the biochemical activities of the cell. Let's see about Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus was first discovered by Camillo Golgi. It consists of a system of membrane-bound vessels arranged approximately parallel to each other in stacks called cisterns. Material synthesized near the ER is packaged and dispatched to various targets inside and outside the cell through the Golgi apparatus. Its function includes the storage, modification, and packages of products in vessels. In some cases, complex sugar may be made from simple sugar in the Golgi apparatus. It is also involved in the formation of lysosomes. Let's learn about lysosomes. Lysosomes are also called as suicidal bags because under some abnormal condition, when the cell gets damaged, lysosomes may burst and the enzymes digest their own cell. Lysosomes help to keep the cell clean by digesting any foreign material as well as worn out cell organelles. Foreign materials entering the cell such as bacteria or food as well as old organelles end up in the lysosome, which break them up into small pieces. They contain powerful digestive enzymes capable of breaking down all organic matter. Let's learn about mitochondria. Mitochondria are also known as the powerhouse of the cell because of the ATP it produces. Mitochondria releases the energy required for various chemical activities needed for life in the form of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. ATP is known as the energy currency of the cell. Mitochondria have two membrane coverings. Outer membrane is very porous, while the inner membrane is deeply folded. They are able to make some of their own protein. Let's learn about plastids. Plastids are present only in plants. There are two types of plastids, chromoplast and leucoplast. The chromoblasts are the colored plastids present in leaves, flowers, and fruits, whereas plastids containing the pigment chlorophyll are known as chloroplasts. Chloroplasts also contain various yellow or orange pigments in addition to chlorophyll. Leucoplasts are found primarily in organelles in which materials such as starch, oils, and protein granules are stored. The internal organization of the plastids consists of numerous membrane layers embedded in a material called stroma. Plastids are similar to mitochondria in external structure. Plastids have their own DNA and ribosomes. Let's see about vacuoles. Vacuoles are storage sacks for solid and liquid contents. Vacuoles are small sized in animal cells, while plant cells have very large vacuoles. That is 50 to 90% of the plant cell. In plant cells, vacuoles are full of cell sap and provide turgidity and rigidity to the cell. In amoeba, the food vacuole contains the food items that is consumed by it, and contractile vacuoles expels excess water and some waste from the cell. Let's learn about cell division. The new cells are formed in organism in order to grow, to replace old, dead and injured cells, and to form gametes required for reproduction. The process by which new cells are made is called cell division. There are two main types of cell division, mitosis and meiosis. The process of cell division by which most of the cells divide for growth is called mitosis. In this process, each cell is called as mother cell. Mother cell divides to form two identical daughter cells. The daughter cells have the same number of chromosomes as mother cell. It helps in growth and repair of tissue in organisms. Specific cells of reproductive organs or tissues in animals and plants divide to form gametes, which after fertilization give rise to offspring. They divide by a different process called meiosis, which involves two consecutive divisions. When a cell divides by meiosis, it produces 4 new cells instead of just 2 like mitosis. The new cells only have half of the number of chromosomes than that of the mother cell. Thank you. See you guys in my next video. Until then, bye from Miss Shruta.